Hello, I'm Larget Caplan, and I'm talking to you today about practice. While having regular instruction, I found organizing my practice to be quite easy. One, my instructor and I would discuss what needed to be done for the next lesson. Two, the concerts and gigs I had were big deals and often scheduled with quite a bit of space between them, so I could easily focus on what needed to be done and prepare accordingly. And three, my life outside of music was not very complicated or so demanding that I couldn't keep track of what needed to be done. The last one was very short-lived. Of course, when I stopped receiving instruction and I was floating in a world that valued my work quite differently than the conservatory, and without someone encouraging me in a particular direction, I had to learn how to learn and what was the best way for me to do that. As my career expanded with multiple programs at one time, performance and recording projects, teaching and arranging, and now recording, keeping track of what I needed to do and what I did for both professional reasons and my own mental health became more and more important. I found I spent so much time and energy trying to remember what I needed to be doing that I was wasting time. And I would wake up in the middle of the night recalling a piece that I had forgotten to work on. It was not nice. It was quite stressful. I spoke with quite a few musicians about this, and each of them had their own way of dealing with it. Some used journaling, some planned their practice 6 months ahead of time on a calendar. Others allocated a particular amount of time for practice and techniques and pieces. I heard that Taraga would practice an hour of arpeggios, an hour of scales, an hour of chords, and an hour of tremolo. True or not, it's an interesting idea. Journaling never quite worked for me. Neither did committing to a particular calendar or setting a timer. The idea of a coach or an assistant watching over me was outside my tax bracket, so a few years ago I decided to make a practice calendar. It had to be on paper and it required me to write down my doings. It has varied quite a bit as my goals and career requirements have changed, but the essence remains the same. Remove unneeded stress and acknowledge the work that I've done, because sometimes progress hides itself. So this is my calendar. Along the left side, you'll see composers and pieces. Along the top, you'll see dates in the month. Each week is broken down with a bold date signifying the start. I do include practice time, as well as French and other aspects that I'm working on. This is a completed practice calendar from just a few weeks ago. Along the top, you'll see time, which I break down to half-hour segments. Each week includes a number with a circle for the total amount of hours practiced. And under that, you'll see checks as well as initials for pieces that I practiced. The X's, found at the date of the 3rd, are for recording, pieces I recorded that day. I do this similarly for concerts as well as with meetings with composers. On the left side, about halfway up, you'll see Rec, Edit, R. That means recording, editing, and arranging. I have started to include that in my practice because it is such an integral part of my daily musical life. This is a student practice sheet that I gave just a few months ago. It includes practice time, stretches, warm-ups for right hand, warm-ups for left hand, and any other exercises we'd like to add. There are also a spot for pieces, and at the bottom I do include listening because it is such an important part of our musical life, both for albums and concerts. I did not include breaks on my sheet or that of my student, but we discussed this quite a bit, and it is an integral part of practice. So don't subtract the time you're not on the guitar. I do not claim to know the best way for you to organize your practice. Only you can figure that out. So I hope you'll experiment and try different things to see what works for you and what doesn't. I'd love to hear about your successes and those things that didn't work for you. I look forward to hearing you, and may your practice be beautiful and your strings be in tune. I'm Larget Caplan. Thank you.